Good evening, everyone. It's November 14th. This is the Wednesday night meeting of the Merrimack Agriculture Commission. The time is 7:05. We're going to start the meeting. Looking for comments from the press or public. Seeing none, we're going to move forward. And we're going to change the schedule to our horse talk.
Yes.
Please.
And,
Thank you, Bess.
yes, I just, last month, we spoke on protecting horses' feet, and hoof care makes the horse, and for trail riding, and I'm just going to, it'll be just in continuation with that regarding teaching your horse manners about shoeing. And it says, to make hoof care stress-free, teach your horse manners. If he's difficult to work with, he won't get the best possible care from your farrier. It's also a safety hazard to you if he's unruly while being handled on and off the trail. To help your horse become comfortable with the trimming and shoeing procedure, prepare him for the handling, sounds, and sensations he'll experience with your farrier. When you pick up your horse's feet, have him stand a little longer than necessary to teach patience. Use a carpenter's hammer to mock the feel and sound of trimming and shoeing. With the hammer's claw, scrape the sole and outside of the hoof to mimic the rasp. Light hammer-like motions emulate driving nails. Avoid being too aggressive. If you've worked with your horse and still have trouble, hire your farrier to help you work through the process of a successful shoeing. Your diligence on the 410 saves you farrier headaches and keeps you out of dangerous situations. One step at a time. Your trail horse is at risk for a foot injury even on rock-free trails, so be prepared. You would hate to have to end your ride because your horse fractures his hoof wall, is bleeding, or has a stone bruise, and you're ill-prepared to handle it. Carry supplies for hoof-related mishaps. You always pack a small rasp, such as a weaver's rider's rasp, plus extra boots and shoes. It's not practical to bring an entire set for each horse, but you shouldn't be without a few spares. If you're not comfortable tacking on a loose or lost shoe, simply use a hoof boot to tide your horse over until you can make it back to the trailer. If you find yourself without hoof protection, stay on the softest ground possible and avoid rocks as you head back, even if it means you dismount and walk. A few chips aren't a big deal, but if you badly break up the hoof wall or give your horse a stone bruise, he can be out for months. So,
Thank
just
you,
a
Bess.
few tips.
Thank you very nice. Any questions? Horse people? Any questions from the public? Don't be afraid to call. We have a horse expert.
Well, not so
On the
much
commission.
expert, but somewhat knowledgeable.
I'm going to jump to item E, and we're going to talk about upcoming workshops and seminars. We have a short list. November 15, UNH Cooperative Extension, Hillsborough Office, Goffstown. There's going to be a course called Lean Processes for Vegetable Farms. They're going to talk about reducing labor costs and minimizing the impact on the land and increasing your efficiency and systemized practices on your farm. I believe there's a charge, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have a phone number if you need. George Hamilton is involved. November 16, Farm Transfer Planning Basics in Bretton Woods. Full-day workshop covers what farm families need to know as they plan the future of their farm. UNH Extension will be there. We have a phone number. I believe this course is free. November 28, Corn Forage Crop Meeting, and November 29, same meeting, different location. First location is Grafton County Extension Service, North Haverhill. Second location is Stuart and John Sugar House in Westmoreland, New Hampshire. Extension specialists and other experts for corn and forage meetings will talk about how to improve your crops for cow corn, and I'm sure there'll be some interesting questions on sweet corn too. November 30 through December 14th, there's going to be a QuickBooks for Women Farmers in Concord. 3-week series. Computer QuickBooks. December 3rd and 4th, High Tunnel Production Conference at the Manchester Hotel on Elm Street. They're going to talk about high tunnel production. There is a fee for this one. We have an advanced marketing short course for sales. It's an extended course, January 9th through the 30th. I believe it's once a week, a 4-week course in Concord. Expanding your agricultural operation by adding a new product or growing more than existing products. Business owners would be enlightened by this course. I'm not sure if there is a fee. I don't see it here. I apologize. And we have one more, which is more interesting perhaps for everybody. Tuesday, November 27, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at North Country Tractor in Pembroke. We are going to have a demonstration in the shop. John Deere expert service technicians will run diagnostic processes and hands-on demonstration of software that they use in the repair of their equipment. This course is free to Farm Bureau members, which we are, all of us, and others out there. I do have a phone number. You can contact Rob Johnson. It is 2 miles. It's right down the road from Pony John Deere, Nortrax John Deere. It's the green tractor place on Sheep Davis Road. If you need a phone number, please don't be afraid to call. I think that's all I have for workshops and seminars. Treasurers?
Yes?
Item F, then we'll go back to the beginning.
The Treasurer's Report, the Agricultural Commission, Farmers Market Fund Accounting, balances of 10/31/2018. The summer market balance is $4,777.38. The Community Garden Fund account is at $2,488.24, with a combined total of $7,265.62. The winter market account is at $483.34.
Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome.
Questions? None. So we're going to go back to item A and start in the beginning. A couple months ago, in the market bulletin, there was an ad for free textbooks related to agriculture. It originated from up north. John Porter, who works for the Extension Service, was in touch with a bookstore that had all this excess textbooks, brand new textbooks that they had no use for. They weren't selling, so on and so forth. So I responded to the ad and told them that we are the Merrimack Ag Commission. We have 5 or 6 members that would be interested in this as study material or technical material. So it took a month or two to finally get together with him, but he did release to us a set of 5 or 6 textbooks. Production management, food production, dairy production, agri-food systems, and sustainability, which I'm going to give to all the members tonight on the way home. I brought one set of books with me up here. The rest are in my back seat, so please don't leave without taking them. I believe they'll be very useful in the future, especially if we have questions and answers. They're kind of technical, and maybe not so, but they are brand new, and since the bookstore had no further use, I think it's a good catch that we obtained them, and we're going to use them into the future. So I thank John Porter for that.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good for
thank you.
reference.
I only had to go to Concord to go get them, so it kind of worked out.
Stay
It took a
right up
while.
there, thank you.
But thank you again, UNH Extension. Moving on, item B. I had hoped to have by now some signboard questions and answers answered. I do not as of yet. We tried to have meetings this week. They fell apart. I did create a series of questions. I've submitted them to the office, and maybe by the next meeting we'll have some response. I don't have any other knowledge of what's going on other than that. I hate to keep dragging it around, but another month's going to go by, unless
Oh, is it at your,
I still have the signboard. It's safe where it is, but
Well,
I thought that it would be needed at the winter market, but I don't know what the status is.
I thought that was part of the discussions that we were gonna have it at the winter market to, increase.
Right, and if we look at October 10th
Attendance.
minutes, there is a reference to it. But again, it has not evolved, and I don't know,
well, it looks like it's gonna have to be tabled for
another month or so.
another month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, if anybody has any knowledge, we tried to get meetings, but to no avail. So we're gonna move on and go to item C, which is the winter market. Again, some of these questions pertain to that, that I submitted. I'm asking the market manager for the vendor list every week. Any paperwork, i.e. applications, copies of them, and the attendance every week. So when we look again at it January 9th, we will see if
We
It
could
was-
make it,
if it's worth it or not.
Correct. No, it opened last Wednesday, is that correct?
Right,
Yes.
and today would be the second Wednesday market. And I was hoping Don would be here to help us, but I'm not seeing that yet. So, and again, there was a reference in October 10 minutes for that, but I don't have a lease, I don't have anything. I don't know what's going on as of yet. Does anybody have any knowledge? I don't. No?
I don't know.
Sorry to say no.
do you wanna review the minutes and,
Now, is there a market next Wednesday, being at the Wednesday before Thanksgiving?
I would imagine so.
I presume there would be.
Mm.
The minutes of October 10 say the signboard would be placed to attract public awareness. Don will arrange for a meeting with the town manager and all commission members before the November 7th start date to receive confirmation and discuss any other pertinent issues, which didn't happen. That's why I started emailing you guys and get you caught up a little bit, you know.
Nope.
I
No, I
was,
thought the question list was very thorough, too, so.
I sat for 2 nights
They were
after
very-
dinner and just scribbled and, you know.
I'm assuming, I think we talked about that, I think he is gonna have that, because that was mentioned last meeting, I believe, we talked about. I know the Wednesday is the 26th, the day after, I don't know if he's gonna have it then, I don't know.
I thought he was gonna run every Wednesday. I didn't think there was a conflict. I didn't know otherwise. Ronnie did submit a couple questions last night to me, and
Oh,
I
good.
worked them in, I think, Ronnie.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I saw them, yeah.
I mean, I maybe amended 1 or 2 to cover you, but
You made it sound, no, it definitely made it sound, I was kinda just spitballing,
Yeah.
why don't we ask this, and you made it sound very nice, thank you.
if you guys have more questions,
No, I thought that was a very thorough list that,
help me.
goes
Add a couple.
beyond-
If there's something I didn't,
No, I think you covered
I
everything.
think so,
mean,
you
it's,
did a very good job, yeah.
I mean, I would just like to get real answers,
Well-
you know, Bess?
We just need to have so we
Yeah.
can move forward one way or the other.
Yeah,
Whether we keep it and buy it, or however, or maybe we might have to sell it. But, no, I'm serious.
I'd like to know which way to go, you know?
Yes, I mean, either we can move forward with it and use it for our advertising, or if that's not gonna happen, then might as well just scrap the program and just keep a sign. Now, did you get my, we were talking about repainting the sign,
Yes.
and my thought is that we have the funds, why not we have someone like Marshall Signs repaint the sign? And just get it done, have it finished.
Well, I can
Or-
get an estimate,
Yeah.
and then I'll present that in another meeting. Ronnie saw what I was talking about. I did one side this spring
Yep.
up in the attic, in the barn. The other side is starting to crinkle. And the way I explained to Ronnie, a little artist brush around the green letters, leave the green letters alone, and just
Oh,
do the
okay.
white. You know, put another good coat on it to hold it
Okay.
together. Can you confer with that, Ronnie?
Yeah,
I mean, that's what you saw too, right?
Yeah.
Just to kind of hold it together so it doesn't melt away and
Who has a
disappear.
steady hand?
I did the first, I did it like last March.
I also,
I put it on flat and leaned
Yeah.
over and, you know,
I got Hay and I saw Karen.
oh,
I think she has a sign. I asked her, there should
Did you
be.
see it?
I didn't see it, but I mentioned it to her, you
Yeah.
thought she had one.
Uh-huh.
So next time she'll see you
Okay.
over there, you know.
All right, good.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I knew we were missing a sign somewhere, but I forget where it was. But anyway, your thoughts, Paul?
Regarding the sign,
Yeah.
I've yet to see it, but, I mean, if it's.
There's a big white one
It's
hanging
the big
from-
white at the market, the big white
I mean,
one
is
where it
something
says
we can tackle?
farmer's market on it.
Or is it?
It's 2 hours on a Saturday, early spring, 2 artist brushes, and then a 1-inch brush to do the rest.
Do we
Once you
have-
get away from the green letters.
How about we have maybe some art students?
It-
Want to,
it's-
need a volunteer
it's-
program?
It's not that involved, really. I mean, I think I did it a couple hours.
Yeah, I
and
think
it
we
was
can
done.
tackle, we don't need it
I
until
bought
June, correct?
that much
Right,
paint,
right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, if we don't need it till June, that's, yeah, I think it's something we can tackle.
Because it'd be nice if Marshalls could do it for,
Well,
Sure,
there was
buddy.
just a suggestion if it's,
But-
you know, a headache for everybody else.
Yeah,
It was a thought.
what I noticed in the funds, so we have 4,700, give or take, right? They didn't take out the scholarship yet. So that's 2,000 deleted for the scholarship.
Oh, that'll come.
So we only
Yeah.
have 2,700 to survive the winter
Okay.
right now.
The winter market doesn't look too strong.
That's
Well,
on-
it
that's
really
on the-
hasn't.
you know,
It's
I don't know.
just,
There we go.
Here we go. Don, how you doing?
in the window.
Long week. Sorry.
You want to go back and talk about the winter market?
Yeah. I didn't know it would come, so sorry, Mike.
You had a market today?
Yes, we had, I actually forgot the newspaper. I don't know if anybody see that in the, we were in Telegraph on Monday on the front page,
Great.
on the bottom. and then-
Loretta came down?
Yeah, and then we'll be in the Journal this Friday.
Uh-huh.
So, we had 6 vendors last week. We had a lot of people come in, new faces. I didn't do a count last week, but we had 6 vendors. This week we would have had 7 vendors because we had a new one come. But Joy had a problem with their brake lines, so they couldn't come. And the another person that was supposed to join us this week, there was a scheduling problem with her husband with the babysitting, so she'll be here next week. So we had 7 vendors, well, we had 7 vendors, no, 6 vendors again this week. We were supposed to have 8. So the lady doing the jewelry will be there next week. So it's encouraging. We have,
What are you doing jewelry?
she makes it herself. So she wants to do it through Christmas. She goes to the Bedford Farmers Market weekly during the summer. She actually makes everything herself. She lives right here in New Hampshire.
Because as an agriculture market, we don't normally do jewelry. You know?
Well, maybe
does
it's
it-
made
how-
out of seeds.
It's
How does it look? What is it made of?
silver.
Oh.
So she's
So it's
she
a-
does silver. She's making
Oh, I
jewelry.
see. I
Yeah.
misunderstood.
Oh,
Okay.
so she-
I thought
yeah,
it was more cosmetic stuff.
No, she's actually making earrings, necklaces.
Mhm.
I'll say I don't know if she's a silversmith, but she makes stuff that's silver.
Mhm.
Her name's Kitty. I don't remember her last name.
Mhm.
It's quality stuff. She does a good job.
Mhm.
She's willing to pay the table fee to come join it. So it's not like she's not like buying. I mean, she has to buy like the metal and stuff, but she makes the jewelry. Like she makes it happen. If that makes
So, to kind of keep up with what's going on every week, can you give us a list of vendors every week?
Yeah, I didn't. You want to know?
Not today, but
Yeah.
from the future. I mean, you go back 2 weeks and just write everybody's name down. You have all the contracts, right?
I mean, when I have contracts, I have
You use the.
I have applications.
Okay.
They sent me the insurance
Mhm.
and any, if applicable, their food service licenses.
Right.
So yes, I have all that.
Mhm. How many walk-ins did you have today? Give
Customers,
or take?
about 35 to 36, I don't know, maybe 37 customers, not including little kids. I mean, that was adults that were buying.
Mhm. The vendors happy?
Yeah. The fish guy's happy.
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone last week. The guy from Saco. Or a different one.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he's from, well, they're out of Portsmouth, but he's
Right.
fishmongers.
Mhm. Yeah, they called me because they were lost. They couldn't find the market last week. And I walked him through it on
What
the
kind of
phone.
stuff do they have?
Pollock,
Cod, haddock, he's got,
no lobsters,
no lobster, he's got some scallops coming at some point.
whatever he's walking off the boat, I guess.
Yeah, whatever they fish.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, they fish themselves, that's cool.
So what, it's kind of like they are fishing themselves, but it's like a co-op. So there's a guy that's a part of this group is in, what's a fishing port in Mass?
Gloucester.
Yeah, Gloucester. So he's one guy's down in Gloucester, and he sends, so he'll get his catch, guy in Portsmouth, guy in Maine, and they kind of throw it all together. It's the same company, or same group. I don't want to say co-op, it's the same group. And they kind of pool, so this guy's fishing this, and this, and they may get a stray fish here and there, and they just kind of throw it in. So, I had a piece of haddock last week, and it was good.
He's bringing ice, or how's he doing it?
He's packing an ice in, yeah,
Mhm.
so
Bet it is
well,
good.
they actually vacuum seal it,
Right, shrink wrap it, yeah.
and then they throw it in the cooler, it's still fresh.
Oh.
And then they pack it nice. So they do the Salem market, that's where I picked him up. And he had a cooler, it was bigger than mine. And he couldn't even lift it, it was so heavy, I had to give him a hand on my dolly. Anyway. So it's looking promising, again, so we'll be in the Merrimack Journal again this week, we're hitting it with Facebook on the, I'm hitting the 3 Merrimack pages with advertising. Getting a lot of people liking it and moving it, and so we got some more vendors coming. I get the beer and guy coming, Benjamin's coming with his cheese.
Hmm. So you see activity?
This is activity, and like there was new people again today that I
Mhm.
haven't seen. There's 3 different couples from Nashua came up, first time.
Hmm.
But they came from Nashua to come up to the market, they were happy, they said they'd be back.
Mhm.
The Nashua the Nashua winter, the Nashua Farmers Market went inside Alex's shoes on Sundays.
Mhm.
I'm not hearing great things from the people that are attending, either customers and vendors, so I'm not,
Why?
I'm not saying, it's not well attended.
They're not on Main Street anymore.
No, they're on Main Street,
They're in
but
the
the old,
building.
but they're in the
Mhm.
building, so it's a little different. So they're gonna
I
flounder a
think
little
they
bit.
would get a lot of walking
They'll have,
traffic.
well, they're gonna have less walk-ins, like, kinda like us, where you're out of sight, out of mind almost.
Is the Milford one on Saturday in the, on?
About every
around there?
other,
They do that in the town
In the
hall,
town
second
hall.
floor.
Okay, 'cause I had to park there, I noticed that, they had quite a crowd going in there.
Well, it's not all for the market, they do other things in that building
Oh, they
too,
do- oh,
but
okay, okay.
I'm not saying that they don't
Well,
have
I
a
mean,
crowd.
I saw, when I parked by, get the hair salon in the bar, I parked over there because the oval was full.
Yep.
On that side one, and that one door on the side there by the, I think that's the fire station, police station.
Middle Street.
Yeah, Mill Street.
There was like about 4 or 5 people just walking in, coming in and going.
And maybe
different
vendors
times.
loading too.
That's true, it could be, but, I don't know, it looked like it was pretty popular.
Yeah. But we're all enthusiastic about this. We're gonna have this stray stuff like, Joy not being able to get in and people not coming here and there, vendors, but for the most part, the vendors are happy with what's going on.
So what happened at our meeting today?
So, I was informed that she would like a list of questions from the board prior to. She'll have all the answers, and then we'll schedule a meeting for us to go talk to her.
Everybody has the list, you got a list too.
Okay, I'm just,
I emailed it to you.
I didn't have
I
it,
know,
I
I
mean,
know.
I didn't check my email today, but,
So.
so that's really where we're at is, it was pretty much told to me that she can't do because of whatever the rules are down there. If we all go as a board, it's a meeting, and need to be posted to the town, and there's a whole litany of rules. And she said, quite frankly, she says she's not gonna participate with that. If we have questions, she'd be more happy to sit down with you and I, or any combination of us, but it can't be a quorum. She will not do that. Because if we wanna insist on that, she's gonna say, go see the town council, and that's how it was brought, that's how it was informed to me. So, I
So-
would think it would behoove us to get some questions, and 2 of us, or so,
No,
go
we
and
have the
talk to her.
questions.
So the questions were emailed to her today, to their office today. How many days do you think to get a response?
I'll call tomorrow and see. I mean, if you email it today, that's fine. I will call and I'll inquire how long does she think that she'll need. And she may say, I didn't see the email yet, or what, I mean, I'm gonna talk to Becky or Kristen probably Becky, because she does the scheduling.
I sent it to Becky, but to give to her, yeah.
So, I mean, I can inquire. I mean,
Well,
I don't know her schedule and so forth, but we can-
some of the questions were related to the signboard. Some of the questions were related to, the lease, all that stuff, permission,
what lease?
your winter lease. Is there a lease or not?
Yeah, but so the lease is between us and the O'Leary building. And it's been made very clear, we were able to get out of it last year with no penalty.
It would just be nice to see a copy of what he's coming up with this year.
It's the same as last year. I mean, I'm not getting over on it. I mean, there's no, it's a lease.
You don't think it's important to have that refreshed?
He's gonna give me another copy. But it's the same money. In other words, the fee didn't go up, so,
Okay.
he's comfortable with, he's been busy. He's gonna just, when he gets it done, he's gonna print it and say, here you go, sign it. I have a key. We've been in there participating,
Well,
and the
I
fee
don't-
didn't go up.
I think town manager has to sign it, actually.
I don't care who signs it. I mean, you know,
And I'm going back in old minutes, but this is why I called you last week, Don, to ask you what happened to the questions, and you said to me, what questions?
no, I emailed you, what were the questions again? I was trying to refresh my brain. I was driving down the road and was trying to remember what the questions were. That's all it was.
So, we were supposed to get answers before the November 7th start date, and that didn't happen.
You want me to shut the meeting? Listen, I feel like I'm getting all kinds of pushback on this farmer's market. You want me to shut it down? I'll just shut it down. I'll walk away. I'm really trying to, I feel like I got flack from you on the phone the last time I spoke to you. I'm really trying really hard to give back to the community on this farmer's market, this signboard. I spent a lot of time on the phone with Eileen in the office down there to try to facilitate this stuff. And I'm not getting anything out of this. I have a store right down the road. I can easily just say, hey, on Facebook, I'm here from 9 to 5 or whatever, and I'll have customers come there.
We're only talking about answering the questions. That's all we're talking about.
Okay, I called you or I emailed you the other day, just a reminder of what the questions were, because I didn't have them on me, and I was gonna talk to somebody. So that's why I did that. It's not that I don't know what the questions are, okay? It's not that I don't wanna participate. It's not that I don't wanna make this happen. I'm really trying, Bob, okay? I really don't wanna get in a big pissing contest here. I'm really just trying to just make a farmer's market happen. I wanna get the signboard. I don't care if we buy it or not. Okay? You wanna sell it to someone else, go right ahead. It's not a make or break for me. Go ahead.
I'm just looking for the answers, that's all.
I sat down with Eileen more than once, and I've had the same answers come out of her mouth. Be more than happy, I'm sure she can reiterate these same things to you if you don't believe me, okay? Because I feel like you're questioning that I'm making this stuff up or I'm not giving you the right answers.
I didn't say that, did I?
Well, I didn't say you said that, but you're insinuating that by kind of the way it's going. So, you want to sit down with her? You can pick someone else to sit down with her other than me. It doesn't bother me, Bob, okay? But I think I've smoothed a lot of stuff over down at that office for this commission.
Can we stay on point here?
Yeah, I am, but you kind of brought it that way, so I'm going to try to make it full circle on this.
We need to know whether the signboard's gonna go to the winter market or not, be placed on their property with their permission.
So, by these questions coming out the way they have, you're attracting more attention to this thing than needs be. The deal's been brokered. We're gonna rebroker it, I guess, because that's kind of, we're aggravating, we're kicking the hornet's nest, which is fine. We'll deal with it. When we figure out what we're gonna do with the sign, then we're gonna go forward and talk to the other powers that be about where we're gonna put the sign. I've already brokered that deal. It hasn't happened. It's kind of been delayed and stalled, and so now.
All right, so that, we don't know the answer to that right now.
So we covered this briefly on a phone conversation the other day. What I'm saying is,
I'm just reading the minutes from
okay.
October, Don, that's all.
Okay.
Breathe.
I'm fine. I'm breathing. I was trying to come up with a good idea for the whole commission to have. We do more than just the winter farmers market. We do the summer market. We do the community garden. We do the seed giveaway. I think the sign, for the expense of the money that's been paid or will be paid, it's worth it. It's cheaper than any advertising you're going to get from the newspaper. I mean, the only other thing would be Facebook, which is free, but for now, I mean, if it changes, but I think for the dollars, it's the biggest bang for the buck. I mean, even the billboards were too much money. So we're operating off of stuff that we generate ourselves. We're not taking any taxpayer money.
Correct.
And so you and I, and you even concurred, and the board concurred, that the signboard seemed like it was a feasible way to go for us.
Mm-hmm.
I've even facilitated, we can get batteries cheaper for it too. So it's,
We don't have to go there yet.
well, right, but
Don't
what
worry
I'm
about
saying
that.
is we can make this happen within our constraints and our budget. Not all at once, we don't have to do it all at once, that's not my expectations, but I think as a board, we can move through this, and we're not side skirting anything. We're gonna, I spoke to Eileen, we can do this, but if we keep jamming stuff on her, she's gonna go the other way with us, and she's gonna direct us in front of the town council, and if we wanna do that, that's fine, I'll ride it whichever way you guys wanna do it. She's
Well-
not side skirting anything, she's not doing anything
All
wrong,
I did was mail the questions, that's all.
and I'm fine with that. I just,
Anybody else?
Well, I guess, where the sign is concerned, I think the reason Bob has all these questions is because if we take it on where we are part of the town of Merrimack and we do purchase it as a commission, then we probably fall under some rules and regulations of the town. So that's all I
and
think.
I'm fine with sitting down and talking to her,
Yeah,
I
so
I wanna work the
See,
particulars out,
I'm not
and I understand that.
in the throes of all of this like you guys are, for sure. But I guess Bob just wants to know where we're gonna stand with it all, depending on which way we go.
And I want the
so.
same answers. I want to make it very crystal clear. I don't want someone to come in and say, well, the sign's ours now, or we're gonna park it here. You can't do
That
that.
was
And
one
I
of
don't
my
want that to
questions,
happen. I
yeah.
want it very clear. But I'm just kind of going with, I talked to the office, and they kicked it back at me. I mean, I'm the monkey in the middle on this. I mean, I brokered the deal. You went forward with it. You've spent your own money on it, and I appreciate that, Bob, and I want to get you paid back on the sign. And I want to get it moving, because it's not helping any of us sitting in your yard rather than sitting out and advertising something. It really.
Yeah, so getting back, so if Eileen has these questions, and she's willing to meet with two of you, which is probably you and You
It
and
can be any
Bob.
combination. She just won't meet
So-
with the board.
that, and, to go over that in a way so she can answer the questions, and then we can move forward from that. Now, you said you had the lease for the O'Leary, he'll give you that, because I think it's just a matter of, keeping things on track.
I'm just waiting for Steve, I mean,
Has he signed it? He hasn't signed it
he
yet?
hasn't even printed it yet. I mean,
Oh.
I'll call him and lean on him
Yeah,
and say,
just-
get it
just let
printed
him
and
know that,
signed.
you
He
know-
said, just don't worry about it, because it's the same as last time, and
Yeah.
it's getting paid. We don't
But-
even pay him till we've
Yeah,
put in a
but
month.
we still should, where there's money involved, it needs to be.
Oh, I agree.
just- So we should have a copy, so we know that that's taken care of. So,
So moving forward, we'd like to know the vendors every week.
yeah,
We'd like to know how many customers came through, give or take. Because we're gonna review it January 9th, as we discussed in the beginning, and see if it's still working.
well, it sounds like you have
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, Bob, we already discussed that,
Okay.
and, is it gonna be, if we don't have 40 customers a week or something, we're not gonna do it? I mean,
No, I
I
think
mean, the
it's just to
customers are
give
happy,
a,
and I'm seeing a lot of volume.
it sounds like you have a better start than last year,
It's working.
you know.
And I'll be the first one to sit here and say on the microphone, it's not working, let's pull the plug.
Yeah.
I mean, like I did last year.
Are you doing the Wednesday before Thanksgiving?
Yes, we are
We
doing,
were talking about that for you.
Yep.
And Christmas, the day after, 26th?
I'm gonna talk to the vendors, I mean, we may not do it.
Okay. It was just something we were talking about where you came. Yeah.
The holidays, I mean, it fell right on
The holiday
Christmas last
season,
year,
it's,
yeah, so,
It is right after.
it's right after, so. We may not do it on the 26th, but I wanna talk to the vendors and see what they think. But I've seen, it's Christmas vacation day after, I mean, it's that Friday that people go shopping, but they may come to the market. I wanna get the consensus, if the vendors wanna come, then we'll open the doors, type of thing.
Well, one good reason to kind of keep track of, the number of vendors and the number of, is because you can make comparisons from year to year.
Yeah.
Like, so you've had two markets already, And if you can think back, what were your first two markets last year when you first started? It sounds like it's been an improvement this year.
So you mean number of vendors?
Number of vendors and.
Well, last year
and
we had a lot of vendors come the first few weeks and then they dropped off, so it's,
So it's
But that
just
seems to
kind of
happen at
a,
every market, though.
I don't care what market you do. You could do the summer market
Yeah.
in
That happens in the summer market. We've had-
even Merrimack, Salem, doesn't matter.
but I think it's
people-
good just to keep track of it, because that way you have from year to year.
I got a
you have an
receipt book and I
idea.
write
Yeah.
receipt, every week
Yeah.
I collect, and it helps me keep track of how many people there
Yeah.
is. So I got the receipt book that tells me,
So that way you
And
can
I have the
say,
same
well,
book
in
as last year.
November of last year, this is how many vendors, this is how many, customers we had compared to last year at the same time.
Mm-hmm. well, it's
or-
hard for
or
me
the-
to vend so out of my pocket, I bought some like beads and some crafty stuff for when kids come in, they can kind of sit down and fiddle.
Entertain themselves.
Well, yeah, and then the parents can kind of shop. So, I mean, that's money I took out of my own pocket and just kind of threw at this. Other markets do the similar stuff. They do like face painting. And I've got a lady that may come at some point and do some free face painting for some kids that come in. Just kind of keeps them occupied so the parents can kind of do some shopping. So I bought some beads and some coloring stuff for Halloween and for Thanksgiving, the type of stuff where it's just kids' activities that they're kind of sitting at the table and doing.
Next year you could have a pumpkin carving contest.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So.
Not going that far.
So we were doing
Might bring
that
in
as
customers.
far as, and it went better this week. I mean, last week was the first week, but this week we went better. We had a bunch of kids kind of, stop, do some bead stuff, and then they
Nicer
left.
day.
Yeah, nicer day. So there's some encouraging things there that we're trying to help, and then the parents thought it was nice, and they'll probably go home and tell
Let's hope.
their friends, and, we'll see what happens.
What would be the maximum number of vendors we could put in there?
10, 12?
No, I could do more than that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
you
could, so
get
I
to
can even
cycle
clear
it.
the other side if I want to move all those tables. I mean, we could probably put,
Is each vendor knocking their table and chairs down and putting them back up before they leave?
not all of them. I mean, that's-
Maybe you should insist on that.
well, I'm encouraging to. So I got some new vendors that are actually doing it, and then I got some, so Tom, I don't want to mention, one of the farms isn't coming back, and he was someone that would sit there and eat peanuts all day and just throw the things on the floor, and I'd have to vacuum it up, and he's not back this year.
That's inconsiderate.
Would never put his chairs away, or so there's a bank of chairs, tables. There's three main tables, the head tables, if you will, and they all have 4 to 5 chairs pushed up to it. So those vendors I assign those 3 spots to different vendors. There's the bread guy, there's Joy gets one, and Victory Aquaponics. I'm letting them have those tables. I go over the corner so that people got to walk by them to get me in the back of the room. The cookie, Frank and the daughters, they can move their own chair, the small tables. The fish guy just has a little table. So we're kind of working it out. Where Joy actually moves the table. Victory, they're starting to move the tables and stuff themselves, where last year, or last couple of years, it wasn't happening, and that's something that fell on me to clean up. Part of the lease is, you go, if I have to, I go vacuum up the stuff. I mean, we don't have to clean the room.
Well, Joy has the other Don. I mean, he could.
Yeah, he's
Table
helping
check.
out. So he's been a help when they're there.
Mm.
This group seems to be a decent group as far as putting stuff back. There's our other vendors. I mean, some vendors think, well, I'm paying for the space, so someone else can do this for me, and that's the wrong attitude, but that it happens. So I have to put the room back together or break it down for them.
Just print one page of what they have to do.
Yeah.
Post it. Anyway.
This seems
It
to be
is
a good group.
appreciated if you assist in the
Well,
cleanup
right.
process.
And I've actually put them on the spot, so when I ask them and then another couple vendors are helping, it kind of guilts
Yeah.
them into doing it. But that other guy that's not back, he didn't
Wow.
care, he wasn't doing it. And whatever.
It's a new year.
It is.
G3 wants to come back to the winter market.
Do you have a baker now?
I do have a bread guy, and we got the Frank with the cookies.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is talk to G3, and I'm going to limit some of the things he brings. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've got an artisan bread guy who makes brioche rolls and some nice potato bread. I mean, it's a good product.
Mm.
He's not charging top dollar, I mean, he's not getting rich on it. And then we got the cookies, so what I wanna do is I'm gonna ask, Bob to, he makes a lot of different stuff. Leave the cookies at home or bring them wherever, and your
Mm.
sourdough bread, just make your fudge, he makes the quick breads, the pumpkin and stuff, and the
Mhm.
English muffins, and he can bring enough of his other products there.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna ask him to do that. I wasn't excluding him.
That's only fair.
I'm trying to make, instead of having just one guy there, I'd rather have 3 vendors there. I think that's fair. I had said to him on the last market of the summer, we're gonna do this, but we had a meeting, call me. I never heard from him, and then he called me all mad the other day. I said, you didn't call me, so what do you want me to do? I mean, I tried calling, whatever, but,
Anyway, he's coming back. That's another one. That's good.
so he'll be there. So I got more and more vendors. I'm working on a soap person and a jelly and a pasta person. There's a pasta place out in Hollis, Velcenchi's or something they make. I did a market at SNHU. It was just they do a once a month up there,
Mhm.
and they were next to me. I'd already called the owner because he was at a different market that I picked his card up.
Mhm.
They sell pre-made, people can buy some pasta dishes, so it's like
You take home?
yeah, take it home, throw it
Yeah.
in, some ready-to-eat stuff. Some of it was prepared food to eat. So he's interested in coming. It's just a matter of getting these things to kind of line up and get the people in. Anyway,
All right, so maybe a meeting next week. We'll see what happens. All right, enough?
yeah,
Enough?
I'll I'll give her
Anybody
a call
else?
and
Is
see.
that enough?
No, I
Ronnie?
think we've
You
hashed that
Paul?
out enough.
No, I think that's fine. I mean, the questions you sent, I mean, if the only 2 people can meet with, that's fine. If she can just go through those and answer everything that she can answer.
I did
I would-
have one question with the 2 town employees that was in there. You saw that?
Oh, yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, just in
Because I
general.
don't want to get in a union crisis here, moving
Yeah.
that thing or whatever, you know? But I did ask that question.
But if she goes through them, can answer them, and nope, I can't answer this
And
one.
then we can deal with
I'm
the-
perfectly fine with that. But
Because Ronnie was concerned about it too.
would like to.
You don't want to get caught in the middle. of
Yeah, I
the union.
mean, I just,
Yeah, and I don't want that to happen. I
I'd like
want,
to have,
No.
I'm not, yeah, that's not a big concern. Just in general, though, is
Can we or
make
can't we?
make a decision on the sign so that if we're conducting the winter market, that it's out there and being used and being taken advantage of.
Mhm.
You know, because basically every meeting that goes on, we're losing 4 weeks of time where we're either gonna use it or not use it.
right, and I agree.
Okay, do we want to move on to the minutes?
Yeah.
Moving right along, gentlemen?
Review of draft minutes, October 10. I would like to amend and revise a little bit of the October 10th minutes.
Alrighty.
Because finance wouldn't pay me for the class that I asked to get repaid for.
Or they wouldn't?
Yeah, and it wasn't in the minutes, and I missed it too, Beth.
Oh, did I?
So,
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna add, that we voted to repay me for the $55 when I took the soils course.
He was 55 even.
Oh, I
Yes.
must have had it in my margin or something and missed
I
it, sorry.
forgot it too when I proofed them, you know.
Okay,
So that's the only amendment and revision I'm gonna have on October 10 minutes. Other
All
than
right,
that,
well,
we
let me-
can vote to accept or not, if there's a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to reimburse Bob McCabe $55 for a soil class?
Class.
Soil class.
That should have been the October 10th minutes.
Oh, that should have been in the October 10th
yeah,
minutes.
I'll write it up.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, 5-0. That's done. And how about to accept the minutes? October 10.
Motion to accept the October 10 minutes with the amendment for the $55 motion.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-0, thank you. Comments from the press, comments from the public, comments from the commissioners. I got a couple letters in the last month. One's from Agriculture in a Classroom, looking for donations. We saw this last year. We can think about it over the next month.
Did
What-
we
what is
table
it?
that? Did we ever donate to
I'm
that?
trying to remember what that was.
No, I don't think
What
so.
was that one?
There it is. And also Joplin Hill Farm, Friendly Farm, is that the name?
Joppa Hill Educational Farm.
Thank you. Sent me a letter. I didn't bring it. I apologize. If we have money seeking donations. you know, and looking into the future.
Like we just
Well,
talked about how we only have a certain amount to
Correct.
last us the winter.
I'm just bringing the news
Oh,
around. That's all.
I thought we had a discussion, I'm sorry.
The scholarship money wasn't deducted from the big account yet for the 4 girls.
Well, they said that it wouldn't come out until they go to school, right?
Yeah, but I thought I sent Tammy an email to give it to guidance department, get rid of it,
Oh,
to move it
do
over
you
there.
want me to?
No, I'll just redo the email, and then maybe that's all she needs. Maybe I didn't do the email. I don't remember. I have to search for it.
personally, you know, I think we do a lot locally, and
I think that was the problem last year, is it's a general broad thing,
yeah,
right?
and I think that, that's nice for big corporations, but I think with the monies that we donate to the 4-H locally, and we do give
Scholarship. fund.
scholarship money, and we also give the $500,
And I see that finally came out in October too.
Yeah.
For the fair?
Well, the fair got paid.
So, yeah, so I went down and saw Tammy, and I said, what gives, you know?
Mm.
And she told me that they sent a check to Blue Seal, and I says, okay. And then she said, well, they're supposed to make it to me. I says, no, but I thought I wanted to make sure it got applied. So Blue Seal, so they just sent it blindly to Blue Seal
Oh, yeah,
in
and do it
in
without-
Milford. And Dan called the manager, and he says, what is this? Which I'm glad he did.
well, you should have known, $550.
Well, it was just from the town of Merrimack. I mean, there was
Oh,
no
yeah.
explanation, no
Oh,
nothing.
yeah.
So
No,
I was
no.
kind of waiting for a phone call to go pick up a check to go hand it to Dan, because it went on my account to
Hmm.
cover it, you know, which was not a big deal. He was fine waiting.
I think they only gave him 500, not 550. Was there 11 or 10?
11.
It was
Supposed to have been
It was
11.
supposed to be 11.
I think-
I'll find out.
It's in there. I think it's 500. It's in your last list.
Is it?
I
Should have
believe.
been five.
And also,
Which one, this last?
I believe so. It's pretty recent.
They
I
just
think-
paid it. And then the Drop Hill finally got a check. And
They
I
did?
had, well, so I went down there. They hadn't cut it yet. And I said,
I didn't see that here.
I know that they just got the check, because Annette told me. So
Uh-huh.
when I went down it was right before the last week's market. I went down to get the receipt book, the same one as last year.
Right.
And I inquired, I said, while I'm here, I says, you got 2 checks that need to happen. We voted on them like for the 3rd time. So she had to go back to like the June minutes where we voted in, and she had me write myself, just handwrite that this is what this was for, to release the check. And
It must have been in the September minutes, because this is just pertains to the,
No, I meant on your financial report, Bess. It shows
oh,
on your finance report.
so
Hmm.
so
From
anyway, that was, if it wasn't sufficient, she was gonna call me, and then I
you're
would
right,
bring
it
it to the
says
meeting here.
500.
And then,
You have to-
But she did get the check, and it was for whatever.
and the 4-H lady got her 500 too, finally.
Yeah, finally. So
Right.
they were a little slow. I was a little displeased with the time. We did the motions a couple times, and I said that, and she said, well, I don't see them in the minutes, and I wasn't gonna sit there all day counting the minutes, but she had just, anyway, we'll handle that from going forward differently, I guess.
Anyway, hopefully, if.
No,
No?
it says right here, $1150 total of $550 gift certificates were given to the first place winners of the 4-H division.
But look on your finance report, there's only
They only
500.
they only sent 500, so,
So we still owe $50
And-
Blue Seal, I believe.
All right.
I think.
What, is that in the minutes right there?
well, that's what it always has been.
No, but that's what we voted in,
Let's
right?
see,
I always thought it was 11 anyway.
It was 11.
11 first place.
it always has
For all the
been,
different divisions, or the categories, yeah.
No, I know what it is. It was
Well, for
550.
him, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. But I was just
I'd
curious.
have to look back, because we, maybe.
I'm gonna have Tammy look it up, because it was 550 on what I said, because I
What's the
I
date of your
handwrite.
minutes, Bess?
Well, this was September, so we must have
September
August,
minutes.
I'll
But
have
she
to look
did dug
back
back
in
to
the-
June, I think it was, or July, and found
Well,
it.
if it had to be in August, because we had to, if the fair was
Oh.
in September.
Well,
So
we-
we've had to vote for it in August because the fair was the 9th. So if we approved the money, they needed the money ahead of time to pay for everything.
Well, we'll
I'm
have to look
assuming
back,
is what
I mean,
happened.
If not, we'll
Or maybe it
just,
was the educational, one of the,
One-
it
yeah,
was
one of those,
the-
yeah.
one of those, and it was,
yeah,
whatever.
I think, well, we'll have to look back and see. If not,
the
we'll have
ninth?
to make a
Somewhere in
correction.
somewhere in that timeframe. It's always the first week.
I'll have Tammy look through the minutes on the,
But anyway, getting back to donations, I think we give to the
We did
Joppa
enough.
Hill.
Yeah.
And, which benefits Merrimack.
yeah, that benefits
Residents?
Merrimack, yeah.
And
Mhm.
I think that, I mean, that's,
And now with the scholarships, we get 4 girls come
Yeah.
in, and what happens next year? We get 5 or 6.
We'll be bled out.
yeah.
Well, right, and then we gotta be selective, which
And,
is
and I
fine,
think
but
that's, I mean, that's, we're,
I'd rather give my money there
yeah,
than to,
So there's a couple other things before we
okay.
end here. In today's mail, I get the soil reports back from the new dirt on Pearson Road. They need fertilizer and all that stuff and lime. It's good to go. I have documentation now that I didn't have before for the potentially new
see, I didn't know where it was.
community garden. You still don't know where it is.
I'll go looking now.
I redid the, over Halloween week, I redid the mailing list for the farmer's market. And I'm hearing from the post office, they're gonna raise stamps a nickel. And we haven't bought stamps yet.
We buy them ahead of time?
Well, I'd like to buy them before the first of the year, not knowing when they're gonna
Didn't
go
we
to.
approve that already?
No, we tabled it. We
The
talked
sta-
about it.
Oh, the stamps?
But you need to approve, 2 rolls of stamps anyway,
How many stamps are in a roll?
100.
So anyway, the
I think I
soil,
have
let's getting
220.
back, so I write my note here, for the soil tests returned,
So I just returned for a potential new community garden.
Those forever stamps?
Farmer stamps?
Forever?
farmer.
Forever, yes, they are forever.
We need to make a motion.
We need 2 rolls of stamps,
How much a dollar amount
100. Today, if we do it sooner than
$100?
later, yeah,
for 2 roll stamps?
yeah.
I'll let you.
So we need $100.
Okay, so,
Make a motion that we, approve $100
For postage,
for postage
for a farmer's market mailing.
for the farmer's market mailing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
5-0, thank you.
You didn't say anything.
Aye.
we eyed.
Are you holding off?
No, he did this. He put his hand up.
All right.
Cheers.
Anybody else have anything else?
So this piece of potential garden space needs improvement? Is
It
that
needs
what-
fertilizer and lime. I have the exact results now. If we have permission somewhere down the road to do this. We don't have permission yet. We did the research first.
Okay, well, it's
See if the
best to look
soil is
into it, see
compatible.
what's the possibility.
The
Is it
soil
ground-
it's 5.7 pH. It needs lime, it needs nitrogen, it needs phosphorus. It's like bleached out. Nobody's done anything to the soil in all these years except
It
take
needs
the hay
horse
off.
manure.
Needs horse manure too, but we don't have a spreader. So it's a whole other problem.
Is this land privately owned or is it town owned?
No, it's just recently town owned.
Okay.
So,
So in other words, it wouldn't be throwing good money after bad. In other words, it's someone
No.
could, okay.
no, but we don't have
Okay.
permission yet.
No, I'm just,
It's an idea.
Motion to adjourn, gentlemen?
motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everyone, for listening. The time is 7:58. Any questions, don't be afraid to contact us. Our next meeting will be the second Wednesday in December. It looks like December 12th. Have a great Thanksgiving holiday. See you soon.